Welcome back. On today's video, we're doing a quick review of a screen grab software called Greenshot. Greenshot is similar to Windows Snipping Tool or Snagit, as other people may know. And the thing I like about Greenshot is it's much more robust than the standard Windows Snipping Tool, and it is free, where with Snagit you have to pay, and it's not always cost effective for a lot of people who don't use it on a daily basis. So let's jump right in. If you go to the website getgreenshot.org, you're able then to click on a download link that'll bring you to this screen. A quick note, when you come to this screen, you'll have a whole lot of different buttons on here that show you download, download, start, download, and none of those are what you want to hit. Greenshot is open source. Because it's free, they're not making money off the program, and they're trying to make money off of other things. So don't click any of these wildly flashing buttons sometimes that say download. You want to come under the download section and click the latest stable release. You will notice also there is a Mac Store version. It is not free. It costs $1.99. Something that I must note, I've used that program. It is not near as robust as the standard program. It actually loses some functionality that may have something to do with Mac software. Anyway, if you click here on the latest stable version, it will download that program and you'll be able to install it on your computer. Most of the time it works very well out of the box. Sometimes you do have to adjust the preferences. To do that, because my taskbar is on another screen, let me bring over a screenshot I have made actually with Greenshot. And you click this down arrow here in your taskbar. You will right click the Greenshot icon and select preferences. Once you do that, let me bring it up here. Once you click preferences, it'll give you a preferences window that looks something like this, where you can come in and change the different keys you use to capture regions. So the one that I use the most is the capture region. If you're trying to capture the full screen, you have an option for that, just a window. Capturing the last region, interesting. You can also do that and capture just the Internet Explorer page you have there. You can also select different options under this capture tab where you can capture the mouse pointer if you would like. You can play a camera sound. You can show notifications in the magnifier, and you'll see the magnifier here in just a second. It has a few other options there. You can select where these images are stored once you have captured them. You can even select the file name and how it'll capture, and here you can see that there's a specific format that tells you the year, month, date, and hour, minute, seconds that screenshot was taken. You can select the quality of the save image, and they're saving as a JPEG. You can select the destination or the automatic destination. When you hit print screen, this will either automatically open it in the image editor or save it or do something else with it, copy it to clipboard. So you have a few options of what happens once you hit that print screen button. You can go to the printer and you can have different export functions. So all of those are pretty cool, but for our purposes, we're just going to use it straight out of the box. So when I hit print screen now, instead of going to the Windows Snipping Tool, it'll bring up that crosshairs, and you'll see that little crosshairs there, and what that's doing is showing me the portion on the screen where it is capturing. So if I'm trying to dial in on this start button right here, and I only want to capture the start button with no white, it's easy to do with the crosshairs, where I can now see right there exactly what I'm capturing, click my left mouse button, hold the mouse button, drag it, and I can fine-tune that last little bit there to make sure, again, I'm only getting the green. Open that in Image Editor, and there we go. I have just the start button. Let's get rid of that because I want to go with a bigger section so you can see more of the functionality. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to capture this section starting on the outside of that ad, coming down to the bottom of the Greenshot thing. Let's bring that up in Image Editor one more time, and let's walk through some of the features that this program has. So the first thing you'll see here on your left hand side, these are your editing tools. The top one is just an arrow. That is what I have right now. It's just your mouse pointer. You can click around. It's not going to do anything until you add some stuff. If I want to draw a rectangle, I can now do that. I can select the line thickness of the rectangle. I can add a shadow. A lot of different things I can do. I can add a fill color. So if I want that rectangle to be filled with a green, now I have a rectangle with green in it. Pretty cool, right? Let's get rid of this because I'm not actually going to do much with that. But that comes handy, especially if you're trying to get rid of other things. Maybe you're trying to block them out. Give me 1 second here. Well, this is not working to delete it. Normally you're able to delete it out right there, but let's just put that up here in the corner. So the next one is drawing an ellipse, which would be a circle or anything else. Obviously that's going to look very similar to that, just a different shape. You can draw lines if you would like, if you need to. In this particular case, these lines are also dynamic. You can move them around. You can change the thickness. You can again add your drop shadow or remove that drop shadow if you so desire. And as long as it is selected, unfortunately, it's going to be there. Okay. The next thing is you can do arrows, and this is what I use a lot more. If I'm trying to highlight something, I'm able to draw an arrow. There's a few different things you can do on this also. You can see there's a start point and an end point. Well, let's start over with the line color. Of course, you can change the line color. If we want to go to a green arrow, if we're trying to say something is positive, maybe you use green instead of red. Maybe you have a color convention that you're trying to use. Your line thickness here changes the size of your arrow. The line right here, you'll see it has start point and end point. So in this particular case, when I draw an arrow, let's draw a new arrow, you see it starts with the arrow. But if I want it to be the end point instead, next time I draw it, it draws the arrow towards whatever item it is that I'm trying to highlight. So that's something that can come in very handy. You'll notice also you can come back here and you can click it after I've already clicked out of it. Some programs don't allow you to, and I can change the direction of that arrow to wherever I want it to be. There is freehand drawing if I need to do that. It of course is not very clear because my hand is not that steady when I'm drawing, but it gives you the ability to circle things or identify things that way. You can add text. So if I'm trying to add text to any drawing, I can do that. You can see here the drawing text didn't work as well, so there's a couple of things that you can do on that. For example, if I want it right here and I want to get rid of some of the background stuff, I can click on the fill color and go in there and add a fill color that then adds a solid background that I can then make sure my text is visible. Again, you can change the line thickness, you can change the font, you can change the text size, bold, italics, you can make it left, center, or right aligned. You can also do a top, middle, or bottom positioning in the box that you have created, and of course you can add a drop shadow. All things that I have used on many different projects. You can add little speech bubbles, which are very cool if you're trying to identify things, either identify something in the image, or if you're trying to add speech to a person as some sort of a video type ad. So little customized things. You can add a counter if you would like. I'm not exactly sure why I would use that, because actually I would use that normally if I'm trying to identify components of a website, and normally what I've done without really paying attention, just use the text box. But this is really cool because if I'm trying to say, well, this is component number 1, and then I'm going to add another component here, that's number 2, this is number 3, that functionality was recently added, and that's pretty darn amazing. You can also highlight text. This is very important if you're trying to add or highlight something that needs to be corrected or just draw attention to it. And with a lot of programs, you have to have actual text. So you'd have to OCR the screen, which do the optical character recognition, and then you can do that. But on this, it allows you to highlight whatever text it is that you want that exists on the screen based on a shape as opposed to based on character recognition. Very cool. Obfuscation is important. For example, if there's text on a screen that you're sending to someone but you don't want them to see specific text, it may be an account number, it may be a screenshot you're doing for a YouTube video that has your name on it, and you don't want that information to be out in the public. So you can go in here and obfuscate, and you can see you can do it right over some of the other characters that I've done. So for example, if I've added text and I want to obfuscate that now, it blurs out that region. This piece right here, effects, is very cool. Watch the border of the image as I click this. And you can do things like a torn edge. If you want your image to have a custom torn edge, all of a sudden now the entire image has a torn edge on it. These are very cool functions. I just hit Control-Z to do an undo, which is cool. You can undo and redo. If I want to do a grayscale instead, the entire image just loses all the color except for the additions that I have made to it. Whatever other features do we have here? We can invert that photo, and it inverts all of the colors. So lots of different cool features that you can do there. You can crop the image if you would like. Say that you captured more than you want, you can go ahead and hit that. And then we will confirm, and it will get rid of everything that is outside the box that I selected. And then you can rotate counterclockwise, or you can resize the image. Now this one's really cool. If you're looking for a specific size image, some websites, if you're uploading thumbnails to them, will require a specific image size. You're able to do that right there, and you can also select to maintain the aspect ratio or not, which means if you or skewing this. So if I say let's maintain the image size and I want to go to 500, it automatically calculates what that needs to be. Whereas if I don't want to maintain, if I'm okay with getting smushed one way or the other, I can say, okay, we'll go back up to 600 here, but I want to keep this at 243, and then it skews the image a little bit. So very cool functionality, something that I use. I use a software like this all the time, whether it's Greenshot or Screenspresso, which we have done another video on in a different segment. All of these features make these programs very, very useful, especially if you're creating PowerPoints or thumbnails or presentations or even Word documents that are graphic intensive and you need to grab images from somewhere and go to a different document. That's where I use this type of program all the time. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, give us a like down below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, consider subscribing to the channel. And if you know someone who may be able to benefit from this video, do consider sharing. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on the next one.